June 18, 1815. A man on horseback arrives in London. Napoleon has lost at Waterloo. Nobody else knows. Nathan Rothschild has 48 hours before official news reaches Britain. By sunset, he'll control the British economy. This is the story of how information became more valuable than gold, armies, or empires combined. London, June 1815. Britain has been at war with Napoleon for over a decade without interruption or peace. The entire British economy hangs on one question. Will Wellington defeat Napoleon at Waterloo or not today? If Wellington wins, British government bonds will soar. If Napoleon wins, the bonds will collapse into worthlessness overnight. Every investor, every bank, every merchant in London is waiting for news from Belgium about the battle. The distance from Waterloo to London is 220 miles. Official military couriers take 3 to 4 days minimum to deliver. But Nathan Rothschild doesn't use military couriers. He uses something faster, a private intelligence network built over decades. The Rothschild family operates banks across Europe: London, Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, Naples. 5 brothers, 5 cities, 1 network. They don't just move money, they move information. Faster than any government, faster than any army on earth. Nathan runs the London operation from New Court, St. Swithin's Lane. His brothers coordinate across every major European capital. The network began in 1798, when their father, Mayer Amschel Rothschild, sent his 5 sons across Europe systematically. Each son established a bank in a different city. Each bank connected to the others through private couriers daily. The system was simple. Information flows faster between 5 brothers than between 5 competing banks or governments ever. When war breaks out, governments need loans. Banks compete for those contracts. Information determines who wins those contracts. The Rothschilds always knew which governments were stable, which armies were winning, which currencies were secure before others. This wasn't luck. This was infrastructure, a communication network that operated 24 hours a day across 5 countries continuously. By 1815, the Rothschild network is the fastest information system in Europe outside of military intelligence operations. June 18th, 4 p.m. The Battle of Waterloo ends. Napoleon's Imperial Guard breaks. The French army is routed completely. A Rothschild agent named Rothworth is embedded near the battlefield. He witnesses the final French retreat with his eyes. Within minutes, he's on horseback. Not toward Paris, not toward Brussels, toward Ostend, on the Belgian coast, immediately. He rides through the night, 60 miles in darkness, changes horses twice, arrives at Ostend by dawn, June 19th. A Rothschild boat is waiting in the harbor. Not a commercial vessel, a private boat kept ready for exactly this. The boat crosses the English Channel, 21 hours at sea, lands at Folkestone on the English coast afternoon, June 20th. Rothworth hands the sealed message to another courier. That courier rides to London, 70 miles in 6 hours flat. By late afternoon, June 20th, Nathan Rothschild reads the message in his office at New Court in London. Napoleon has lost. Wellington has won. The war is over. And nobody in London knows yet except Nathan alone. The official British military courier won't arrive until June 22nd. Nathan has 48 hours of perfect information advantage alone. This is the moment, the 48-hour window, the information gap that will reshape British finance forever and completely. Here's what Nathan Rothschild does next, and here's why it's brilliant, ruthless, and changes finance history forever completely. June 20th, 10 a.m. London Stock Exchange. Trading floor packed. Everyone waiting for Waterloo news, desperately and anxiously. British government bonds, called consols, are the primary instrument. They pay 3% annual interest backed by the government treasury. If Wellington wins, consols will rise. Britain is secure. The war is over. Bonds are safe investments again. If Napoleon wins, consols will crash. Britain faces invasion. The government might collapse. Bonds become worthless paper immediately. Nathan Rothschild arrives at the exchange. He stands in his usual spot against the pillar. Everyone watches him. Rothschild is legendary on the floor. He always knows first. If he moves, others follow. He's the information barometer. Then he does something shocking. He starts selling consols, not small amounts, massive quantities dumped onto the market. His agents sell too, across the floor, coordinated, aggressive, selling everything. The market notices immediately and reacts fast. Rothschild is selling. That means Wellington lost. Napoleon must have won. The war is lost. Britain is finished completely. Panic spreads like fire across the trading floor. If Rothschild knows something, it must be true always before. Everyone starts selling. British consols crash. The price collapses from 60 to 50 in minutes as panic accelerates. Fortunes evaporate. Merchants lose everything. Banks dump holdings. The entire market is in free fall and total chaos. But here's what nobody sees. While the price is crashing, Rothschild has agents quietly buying at the bottom. Different agents, different positions on the floor, not Rothschild himself, proxies, intermediaries, anonymous buyers purchasing everything available now. He's not selling because Wellington lost. He's selling to create panic, to drive the price down artificially and deliberately. The mechanism is called shorting and covering in modern terms. But in 1815, it's just manipulation and information asymmetry. Rothschild sells high at 60. Market panics, price drops to 50. He buys low at 50. Through proxies, nobody connects. Then, when bonds hit rock bottom at 48, he buys everything. Everything others are panic selling in desperation and fear. By the time official news arrives on June 22nd that Wellington actually won, Rothschild owns a position worth millions. The bond price explodes upward from 48 to 65 in hours. Wellington's victory means Britain is secure and safe. The war is over. Napoleon is defeated. British bonds are the safest investment in Europe again after years. Nathan Rothschild multiplies his wealth many times over in 48 hours. Estimates range from £20 million to £100 million profit. In today's money, that's between $2 billion and $10 billion, depending on how you calculate inflation and purchasing power. But here's the deeper mechanism. This isn't about one trade. This is about information asymmetry as permanent structural power. The Rothschild network didn't just win once at Waterloo. It won continuously for decades across every major event. In 1818, the Rothschilds finance a £5 million loan to Prussia. They know Prussia is stable before others do. In 1822, they arrange a loan to restore the Bourbon monarchy in France. Information advantage secures the contract. In 1825, they help stabilize the Bank of England during a financial crisis. They move gold faster than competitors. When governments needed loans, Rothschilds knew which ones were creditworthy before markets did through their private intelligence network. When wars started, Rothschilds knew outcomes before official channels confirmed them to public or press or investors ever. When currencies fluctuated, Rothschilds positioned ahead of markets because they had information nobody else had at all ever. This is the birth of modern financial intelligence operations, not just banking. Intelligence, data as ultimate competitive advantage. By 1820, the Rothschild banking network is the most powerful financial institution in Europe without any question whatsoever. They finance governments across the continent. They They move gold. They set interest rates. They are the central bank. By 1825, Nathan Rothschild is so powerful he can single-handedly prevent the collapse of the Bank of England. He does this by shipping gold from Paris to London faster than any government can move it themselves. The Bank of England's reserves are depleting. Without intervention, Britain's entire banking system will collapse within days or hours. Rothschild uses his five-city network to mobilize £10 million in gold across the Channel in 48 hours flat. The same 48-hour advantage that won Waterloo now saves Britain's central bank from total collapse and financial catastrophe. The full breakdown of how the Rothschild intelligence network operated across 5 cities is on Luxona Vault now. But here's what matters for today. The Waterloo trade isn't ancient history. It's the template for modern markets. High-frequency trading firms today are doing exactly what Rothschild did. They're buying speed, buying information, buying milliseconds of advantage. A high-frequency trader's server sits physically closer to the stock exchange to shave off 3 milliseconds of latency. Why? Because 3 milliseconds of faster information means they see price movements before other traders see them exactly. They buy and sell in that tiny gap, the information asymmetry gap, the same gap Rothschild exploited over 48 hours. Rothschild had 48 hours. High-frequency traders have 3 milliseconds. The mechanism is identical. Only the speed changed dramatically. In 2010, a high-frequency trading firm called Spread Networks spent $300 million to build a fiber optic cable. The cable ran from Chicago to New York, 827 miles. It was straighter than existing cables by miles. The new cable reduced transmission time by 3 milliseconds compared to the old route through multiple switching stations. Spread Networks sold access to that 3 millisecond advantage for $10 million per year per firm wanting that speed. Trading firms paid it without hesitation, because 3 milliseconds generates millions daily in high-volume automated trading arbitrage operations. By 2012, some firms were earning $20 million per day using that 3 millisecond information advantage in markets. This is the Rothschild principle at industrial scale. Information asymmetry is the oldest form of wealth in history. The Rothschilds didn't invent information advantage. Ancient merchants used carrier pigeons for price information between cities always. Roman generals used signal fires to communicate battle outcomes faster than messengers could travel on horses or foot. Medieval traders paid for early access to ship manifests to know commodity prices before goods arrived at ports. But Rothschild perfected it at scale. He built a systematized multinational intelligence network operating continuously for decades permanently. He understood something fundamental. In markets, information is not just valuable. Information is the only thing that matters. Everyone else is trading assets based on yesterday's news. The person with information is trading tomorrow's certainty today. That's not speculation. That's arbitrage. You already know what happens next. You're just waiting for everyone else. Insider trading laws exist today because of trades like Waterloo. But the laws only banned certain information types. They didn't ban speed advantages. They didn't ban proximity to exchanges. They didn't ban infrastructure creating legal information gaps. So the game continues unchanged. Whoever has information first wins. Whoever moves fastest wins. Whoever sees first wins. Today, Bloomberg terminals cost $25,000 per year per user. Why? Because they deliver financial news 3 seconds faster. 3 seconds doesn't sound like much, but 3 seconds in bond markets means billions in advantage for large institutions. Hedge funds pay millions for satellite data showing Walmart parking lot traffic to predict earnings before official reports arrive. They pay for credit card transaction data, aggregated and anonymized, to see consumer spending patterns weeks before government releases. This is Rothschild's intelligence network, rebuilt with satellites, algorithms, and data instead of horses, boats, and brothers coordinating. The mechanism never changed. Only the technology accelerated it from 48 hours to 3 milliseconds to sub-microsecond advantage. By 1850, the Rothschild family controls an estimated 50% of the world's wealth, according to contemporary historians' accounts. Whether that figure is precise or exaggerated remains debated, but the scale is undeniable based on loan records. They became the wealthiest family in modern history through information advantage sustained across 2 generations of coordination and discipline. Not through production or factories, not through innovation or invention, through information, through knowing when others didn't know. The 48-hour war wasn't fought with cannons or cavalry charges, it was fought with messengers and information. While others panicked, selling everything in fear, Nathan Rothschild knew the truth and acted with perfect certainty. And knowing the outcome before anyone else, he won a financial war without firing a single shot. Information asymmetry is the oldest form of wealth in human civilization. Rothschild didn't invent it, he perfected it. High-frequency trading is the same game played at light speed. The mechanism unchanged, only execution speed evolved. Next week, how the Federal Reserve creates money that didn't exist 24 hours earlier, and why it's not conspiracy. Welcome to Luxona, the Netflix of finance.